Hello, everyone. Saturn Astrology here. And now let's review. So, yeah, we are ending the eclipse season, and it's time to review with the Gemini New Moon. And I'm here to talk about the chart, of course, as usual. It happens May 30th, 2022 at 9 degrees 03 of Gemini. And with this, we have, oh no, the eclipse was on April 30th. So this is the second lunation and final lunation of the month of May. For a moment, I thought there were 3 lunations, but they're so close to the end, right? So now this is the new moon. And I will show and share the chart and my interpretation and ideas about it. I just wanted to share with you the Sabian symbol for the 10th degree of Gemini, which is which corresponds to the 9 degree 3 minutes of Gemini. And it says an airplane performing a nosedive, a superior ability to challenge nature and play with danger. So it's all about defying the laws of nature. And I'm going to read to you what it says. It says, through the controlled use of mental powers, man is able to challenge the most basic force in nature, gravitation. He enjoys playing with it as a lion tamer with his violent animals, right? But when he challenges is within himself as well as outside, right? Humans are challenging the natural laws that govern his own existence. Gravitation is the universal binding force of the material world. And by challenging it, man prepares himself to pierce beyond the physical and to reach higher realms of existence. He may lose the struggle, but that prospect makes the effort more exciting, right? He might gain immortality, who knows, right? So the symbol for it has a strong sense of finality and not possibility of half measures exist, right? So man is committed irrevocably to success or failure, at least as a conscious and self-reliant mind. The alternatives are clear-cut. One may describe it as mind versus matter, or man's will against the fate the gravitation symbolizes, right? So with this, we are in a situation where man or humanity is challenging the natural laws. So as Dane Rudier said, we may lose, so we need to be careful, right? So if you like my content, my videos, I encourage you to follow me. I write a blog at satsang@astrology.blogspot.com, and I am in social media as well. Right now, I am teaching a course, a complete course of Introduction to Astrology, which I encourage you to join. I do one-on-one interviews every month with every student for 1 hour to answer your particular questions. So you need to take advantage of this. It's very personalized in that way. Of course, there is the course that is recorded. However, you have the chance to speak with me once a month with all the questions that you may have. So I encourage you to then participate in that course. And I now will share the chart so we can speak about this Gemini new moon in 9 degrees 3 minutes of Gemini. So here you are in Gemini, right? And it is a moon that it is a new moon, of course, that makes some interesting aspects. So let me display the aspect grid. So the moon sextiles Mars and Jupiter, and quintiles Neptune, and trine very loosely, but counter parallel Pluto, which is more important, right? Counter parallel is like an opposition, or approximately. It is on the latitude instead of the longitude. So of course, the same aspects are for the sun, obviously, because they are conjunct. So the moon is invisible, of course, under the sun rays, which means that it is an opportunity to be conscious, to be aware, to gain consciousness about the situation. And I think this is very important because the ruler of this moon is Mercury retrograde. So we are reviewing, let's see. We are reviewing the eclipse season, and I'm going to explain why I say that we are reviewing precisely the eclipse season. So it happens to be that Mercury at 26 degrees 37 minutes is at the midpoint of the last eclipses. One that happened at 27 degrees 14 minutes in November 19, 2021, and the other one was a lunar eclipse. The other lunar eclipse happened just in May 15, 2022 at 25 degrees 18 minutes of Scorpio. So Mercury here is at the midpoint of both eclipses, and this is very crucial because, of course, Mercury rules the mind, what we are thinking about. And in this case, in Taurus, we're thinking about resources. There could be planning, there could be agreements found in financial or administrative sectors. There could be planification of resources, as I said, also administration of the distribution of resources, which is crucial at this time in the world. So especially distribution of good and food, because Taurus represents food and basic resources to sustain life, right? So I would say there is something to say about this axis of Taurus and Scorpio, because of the lunar eclipse that just happened May 15. And in fact, I am recording this on the day of the eclipse. It hasn't happened yet, but is now the afternoon, and the eclipse will happen overnight. So today is May 15, the day of the lunar eclipse. So there is a need to review contracts, deals, and financial matters and changes that have happened throughout the eclipse season, right? We talked in the previous video about the eclipses, how the eclipses on the axis of Taurus and Scorpio talk about the autonomy, the self-sufficiency, and also the need to let go of codependencies, of dependence on others' resources, right? For the world will be how we are now shifting our provision or distribution or the acquisition of resources from those countries that are not reliable. Like, for example, at this moment, Ukraine and Russia, with the energy that is about to be cut from Russia into Europe. In fact, I think Russia has already cut resources, energy resources to Finland, which has requested joining the NATO. So we see how in the past, with globalization, countries have relied on industries outsourced to other countries, where they trusted that they could be trusted, but it's no longer the case, right? For example, manufacturing in China is now on hold because they are dealing with the COVID pandemic, resurging, I would say, and they have this zero policy, zero tolerance for COVID, like if COVID had a reason or logic. Anyways, so they're trying to hold an ocean with a finger. But that's the way they see it. At least their government sees the situation. Anyways, but that has the consequence of having stopped the provision of manufacturing goods for the Western world that had so far relied on them. So in the West, there is scarcity of car parts, of electrodomestic parts, and certain products and supplies that were produced and manufactured in China, right? So I think globalization is on the table for review, right? And with the Saturn and Uranus square, last quarter square, it is obvious that the globalization that started with their conjunction in the end of Sagittarius, it is in question, and we need to review that, and we need to see how the extremes or the over-reliance, right, on Sagittarius, right, over-reliance on the global supplies has brought us to this present situation. So the Mercury retrograde stations just a couple of days later, in fact, on June 3rd, 2022, at 26 degrees of Taurus and 5 minutes, which is still the midpoint between the two eclipses that I just mentioned before. So this degree is so Mercury, with being stationed, is drilling very powerfully on that degree, which is activating, let's say, the meaning of those lunar eclipses, as I said. So Mercury also is in square to Saturn. So this, as a ruler of the new moon, has this huge challenge. And in fact, the new moon has aspects, right, with planets that are crucial for this Gemini energy, and that we will explain them immediately after. But first of all, I would like to explain what the Mercury square Saturn means. So first of all, there is the square is challenging, right? It is a turning point where we are forced to do something and get it serious. We might even get so serious that it could be a pessimistic mental disposition, right? Too much worry, fear, hard work, difficulty in communications, and lack of sympathy, right? It's like direct speech. I'm telling you the truth as it is, and like it or not, but this is it. So so there won't be empathetic discourse or speech, so we may receive the raw messages without any anesthetic, you know. So definitely the mind challenged by Saturn gets kind of slower, sluggish, maybe. Your mental state could be affected by environmental influences. Of course, Saturn represents let's say it's a reality beyond our personal reality, right? Saturn represents the structures and the outside world, those structures that keeps us safe. So it whatever it represents here in 25 of Aquarius, it's something that is affecting the whole world, is affecting the whole community, and the structures, and the social structures in Aquarius, after all, for everyone. So the collective structures. So at a personal level, Mercury is the ruler of digestion and also breathing. And it may also relate to problems with, let's say, respiratory illnesses, right? Because Saturn represents a blockage, and it's in an air sign, which may also represent something in the air that will be polluting the air. That may affect the intestine or the lungs and the breathing apparatus. On the other way, it could also be problems with the structure or the skeletal system, right? The joints, the movement, Mercury, the movement of the joints. So make sure that you exercise gently in order not to aggravate this. So that you don't exceed your exercise level. This square may relate to what happened on April 26, when Mercury entered shadow at 26 degrees of Taurus, because at that time it also squared Saturn. So now it's back to that place. So as I said, Mercury station at 2605 is drilling. It's more powerful. It will stay there and increase their symbolic the symbolism, what Mercury represents. So I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, the virus surges again with this. In some places, at least, there are more vulnerable to the energy of Mercury and Saturn being in square. So countries, for example, or places whose natal chart have a certain hard aspect between Mercury and Saturn, and also personal chart as well. So if you have a hard aspect between these two, then you may be affected more than others. So Mercury also is in trine with Pluto. So here we have a deep psychological awareness. Now Pluto is increasing, and Pluto is also retrograde, meaning that it is more powerful and is staying at that degree for a long time. So this trine to Pluto can really transform your psychological and mental states. So you may have sharp perceptions and a surge of intuitive, perceptions and qualities of your mind. And it's easier to understand important laws of life and death, having a deeper insight into more profound awareness of things. So since both are retrograde, they are both intense, it's a good time to review, for example, resources, the budget, plan investments, and how you manage your debt, and also plan your financial picture, right? Taxes. You may consult a financial advisor in this case to calculate your taxes or review your taxes. And also there could be that health treatments may imply some psychological component to the health. But I also wanted to point out that if we go on the rulership tree, for every planet, let's say the 7 basic planets, the sun, the moon are ruled by Mercury, right? Mercury in Taurus is ruled by Venus, right? And Venus is in Taurus, so Venus will be one of the ultimate rulers of this chart. And then we have Jupiter and Mars in Aries, ruled both by Aries, Mars. So Mars will be another ultimate ruler. And the third one is Neptune in his own sign. Pluto as well is in Capricorn. We go back to Saturn, right? Saturn in Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is ruled by Venus. So we have 3 rulers for this, basic rulers for this chart: Venus, Mars, and Neptune. And I would like to talk about this because Venus and Mars are the rulers of the nodes of the moon. So this is reinforcing the theme for the eclipses and for the nodal axis, the transiting nodal axis, that we are in front of a chart that is emphasizing the theme of how to deal with resources, how to become more self-sufficient and autonomous on our dealing with our resources in order to be to sustain life, right? And Mars, the traditional ruler of Scorpio, right, is with a south node, is telling us that we need to let go of the excesses that we have incurred in codependency on people and circumstances, places, and resources that are not, let's say, they're not reliable. So, and that is in general interpretation. But another thing that I would like to say is the sextile of this new moon to Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter and Mars are, if you see here, the declination, meaning the latitude or the separation that Jupiter has with respect to the ecliptic is 0. It is a 0 declination. And let me see again, Mars is at 0, 0, exactly 0 declination. So when we see the wheel, right, we are talking about longitude, separation and the longitude, east-west, right, of the longitudinal bars. But when we talk about declination, we are talking about latitude, going up or down the equator or up and down of the ecliptic, which is the orbit of the apparent orbit of the sun around the Earth, or which is in fact the orbit of the Earth around the sun. Okay, so, but it's called the ecliptic. And the 0 degree declination corresponds to the equinox or the 0 Aries, right? The spring equinox in this case, or the fall equinox. It doesn't matter. But 0 is Aries, the Aries point, 0 Aries. The start of the zodiac, it is a crucial degree. So I think something is the starting, is a very beginning of the zodiac, right? It's very crucial because this point of declination is, as I said, it's called the celestial equator, right? So, and I think they indicate a new beginning. So there's something starting right now at this new moon that is crucial. So Jupiter is also, not only are they parallel, right? But they are also parallel to Eris. Eris is also at 0 degrees of declination. So very, very, let's say, significant because these are planets, Jupiter of expansion, Mars is action, aggressiveness, impulse, initiation, right? And Eris is that of the things that you can't avoid defending, protecting, and fighting for, right? Because Eris defends the right to be, no matter how ugly one is, right? Like Eris was considered so ugly that she was not invited to the banquet of the gods. So she was the warrior woman defending her right to exist, the right to be, no matter how different, how black or yellow or rouge or red or green or no matter the condition, right? So this is a new beginning for those people who are fighting for the rights to be it LGBTQ, be it Black people, be it immigrants, refugees, all those who suffer for being considered less, right? So it is an increase in self-confidence, of course. As I said, it's significant as well to have Chiron at 15 in the middle of Aries, which is one of the most powerful degrees of a sign. The 15 is the purest, more the strongest degree of the sign. So it is also a painful process, right? And it's probably people fighting and defending for what is right, for what they have a right to get. So there will be enthusiasm to fight for what you want and need, and also on international affairs, because after all, Jupiter represents international affairs and trade. This can start something new. So there could be, since it's in sextile to the new moon, and there could be new decisions, agreements, conversations, right? Gemini and Mercury about international business, important communication regarding finances affecting the global economy. Again, going back to the solar eclipse in Taurus and the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, right? The themes of self-sufficiency, of financial review and recalibration, as well as energy management. So there could be the danger on the negative side of religious zealous wars, or religious fights or wars. We have seen this past week the assassination of one of the iconic journalists of Palestinian origin. Sorry, I don't remember her name, but she was working for Al Jazeera, and she was assassinated in the street, and that triggered the whole, again, the whole conflict between Israel and Palestine. So there is a risk of imposing religious beliefs or ideologies or cultural ways on other people, imposing, and there could be a push for fanaticism as well. So if other indications concur, it also may be a good time for starting new adventures or vacation activities. However, Chiron so close and in the same sign indicates there is pain, there is the opportunity for healing, but also in a painful way. So this sextile is an opportunity for this new moon to start on something of that nature that I just described. So overall, this chart is very cardinal, so there you should expect changes, and it has equal fire, earth, and air. So it's very little water, so it's not very emotional. But it's a chart that will bring changes in motivation, in spiritual push, or and also the material and tangible reality, and also a new start in changes in communications and internet, any kind of new starts and new beginnings in the activities ruled by Mercury, right? So very quickly, I would say, if you are a Gemini rising, of course, this new moon will relate to your to you yourself, to your health, the way you present yourself to others, right? If you are a Taurus rising, then Gemini will represent the new beginning in your resources, the way you make money. And if you are an Aries rising, then this new beginning could be a new beginning in the life of your siblings, right? Or in your neighborhood and the way you think. If you are Pisces rising, then this will be in your 4th house, right? A new beginning in your family. There could be a newborn. It could be moving to a new house. If your rising sign is Aquarius, then this will be a new beginning for your children, maybe, or your creative activities. If your rising sign is a Capricorn, then this could be a new beginning, a new job, a new workplace, a new issue of health. If your rising sign is Sagittarius, then the new beginning will be about your partner, or how you treat yourself, or how you treat your partner. If your rising sign is Scorpio, then this will be 150 degrees from you. It could trigger a certain communication crisis, for example, and getting aware of some insights, psychological insights, or something like that. If your rising sign is Libra, this will be your 9th house, right? Gemini will be your 9th house. And it could be that you just start a new studies, or a new course, or you start a long distance trip. If your rising sign is Virgo, then this is your 10th house. It may be a new start in your professional life, your career, a new job, or a new civil status. Maybe you getting married or something, or you retire, for example, a new civil status. If your rising sign is a Leo, then this is the 11th house for you, and it's a new start for your dreams. You have a new goal in life. If your rising sign is Cancer, then this new beginning is in your most hidden parts of your life. It could be about your relaxation. You may go on a retreat. You may start something related to your spiritual practice, for example. So, and that's it. That's all the signs and what the new beginning is about this new moon. So remember, there's something to review here and reevaluate here about the eclipse season. So I hope this gave you some food for thoughts. And if you, again, if you like my content, you can contact me by email. You can send a request for a reading, and I invite you to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, MeWe, and Tumblr. So thank you so much for sharing these few minutes with me, and I'll see you next time.